Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. I actually get to start this episode with a movie review because, as I mentioned before, I went back to the movies. I went to see Black Widow on the big screen in 3D. Not the biggest screen, but it's still bigger than my TV and in glorious theatrical 3D. The actual movie-going experience was surprisingly fine. Aside from the fact that I had bought my ticket well in advance for a 3:30 showing, and when I showed up at 3:30 and went to go in the theater, the end credits were rolling. And it turned out it was actually a 4 o'clock showing. They had changed it at some point and didn't really tell me, so that was rude. But yeah, but the actual movie was, like, the experience was fine. I kept my mask on the whole time. I know the woman down the row from me did not wear a mask the whole time. And when I got up to leave, I saw the people behind me weren't wearing masks, and it looked like nobody was really wearing masks. It was a Wednesday afternoon show at 4 o'clock, so it wasn't super crowded. But I saw, like, one older woman who was wearing a mask, and that was it. So, yeah, with cases rising and the Delta variant around, I am continuing to wear my mask in indoor situations where I don't know the other people. Because I just don't. I'm vaccinated, but I'm still not completely comfortable with that yet, because people are still getting infected even if they're vaccinated, and that sucks. But the movie-going experience was fine, and there are a bunch of movies coming out in the next few months that I want to see, and since this ticket cost me like $18 for a 3D show with the, service fee of buying it on the app and everything, convenience fee, I decided I would just go ahead and reactivate my AMC A-list for, because it's $23.95 a month, so, like, as long as I see a 3D movie and something else, we're fine. And, like, there's Marvel movies coming out, there's a couple more coming out in the next couple months that I will want to see in 3D, and maybe IMAX, because now I can see things in IMAX for free. Well, not for free, but you understand. But there's enough movies that I thought, let me just reactivate this so that I don't have to pay for individual tickets, and I can see things in 3D and IMAX and not worry about the extra charges. Also, AMC was like, hey, reactivate your A-list and you can get the first month for 99 cents. But I only had a few days to make that decision, so I just decided to go ahead and do it. I'm probably not going to go back to the movies until next week, but I figured for 99 cents, why not? And how was the movie? How was the play, Mrs. Lincoln? Black Widow was actually really fun. I enjoyed it, which I was not sure I was going to, since Black Widow was one of my least favorite characters, honestly. Not a huge Scarlett Johansson fan. When they first introduced her in Iron Man 2, I was like, oof, this is just terrible, this is awful, what are you doing? You're ruining this character. But then once the Avengers came along, she was better, and it was fine. I did find it odd that in this movie that is supposed to be the Black Widow movie, they still surround her with a bunch of supporting characters and make her part of an ensemble cast again. So she never quite felt like the star of the movie, for me anyway. I felt like Florence Pugh's character, Yelena, kind of ran away with the movie. She was much more interesting to me. Although the tag at the end credits made me concerned for the future of her character, but that's, spoilers, no. But it was a good movie. Lots of fun, dysfunctional family humor. There were some great stunts, but I preferred the beginning stuff with, like, the apartment fight and, like, the car chase and stuff, the more physical, realistic stunts, as opposed to the ending where it turned into a big CGI free-for-all like the superhero movies always do, and then it's just way over the top and insane, and you're just like, wow, okay, that's a bit much. But it was good, and the 3D was really good. It was some of the best 3D I've seen on the big screen, like in a Marvel movie, in a while. It was clearly shot with some scenes were clearly shot with 3D in mind, and it was a really good conversion. So if you can see it in 3D, I feel like that's the way to go. but I know it's not as popular, so you might have trouble finding a 3D screening of it. And you have to see it regular. But yeah, back to the movies, yay! As for gaming, I am obviously continuing to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I'm clearly at a turning point in the plot because shit is going down and people are dying and there's major twists in the plot happening and I'm just like, oh my. So that's very exciting. But I've been talking a lot about that because that's all I've been playing for the past month or so. So I decided to play something else so that I have something else to talk about in this episode besides Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Give you guys a break about hearing about Eivor's adventures. So I decided to start Doctor Who: The Edge of Time, which is a PSVR game that I bought like a month or so ago. There was a big PSN sale. Actually, it might have been a couple months ago. But it was like $8 and change, so I was like, you know what? That's fine. Under $10, I will take the splurge and see if it's any good. Because the reviews were kind of like, eh. And in fact, it is kind of eh. I'm not done with it yet. It's not a particularly long game, which is again why I wanted to get it for under $10 was fine, as opposed to paying like $30 for it and getting like only 2 hours of play. So I'm trying to stretch it out and make it last. But basically, you're contacted by the Doctor who's stuck at the edge of time, and she needs your help to free herself, and you have to like go on an adventure and steer the TARDIS and go to places to collect time crystals in order to, oh, I don't know yet because I haven't gotten to that part, do something with the time crystals to help save her. I'm sure it'll just be some timey-wimey bullshit like it always is, but whatever. I will say that the look of the game is good, but not great. The environments tend to be kind of monochrome. Also, this is like one of the ugliest TARDIS sets I've ever seen on the show, but that's my feeling. The controls are what's really killing me. Like, the VR controls are super awkward. I started with a controller and then very quickly was like, oh wait, I need to move controllers for this so that I can like use my hands to manipulate objects, because doing it with the regular controller was just super awkward. So I went and got the move controllers, and like just opening a door and walking through it is a complete pain in the ass and doesn't work properly. And I'm just like, come on guys, like I played so many VR games with such great controls and they're fine, and to just not be able to do that is just sad. But like manipulating objects in the environment can be very awkward. Trying to reach and like select the item is like a pain, and then trying to manipulate it while still keeping it activated can be difficult. But I can't even walk through doors. So annoying. Basically, the game gets by on fan service. Because like right in the beginning, you're like in a laundrette, and then like you're transported, like there's a time glitch and everything's all crazy, and then the Doctor contacts you and says, I need your help, and you have to escape and get in the TARDIS, and it's kind of, you know, you're the Doctor's companion for a short while, and that's super exciting as a fan of Doctor Who. And then the opening credits come up, and it's like the actual credits from the show, and I felt like they really missed an opportunity here, because Jodie Whittaker's name goes by, and then it just says Doctor Who, and I'm just like, you could have said either you, or better yet, like pulled the player's PSN screen name, so it would have said Jodie Whittaker, Wootini, Doctor Who, you know, in this episode of Doctor Who, and that would have been like a super cool nerd moment, but they didn't do that for whatever reason. Then maybe legal reasons, I don't know. But like going on the adventure, it's fine. The other problem is that when you are trying, you hear Jodie Whittaker talking to you, and then she kind of gets replaced after a little bit by this like other female British actress voice, who's a computer AI who talks in your head, and they kind of give you like little tips and hints, and it's like, oh, maybe try doing this, or let's go in here, and we need to activate this, like basically telling you what you need to do, and then if you can't figure out how to do it, they'll start hinting how to do it. The problem is that if you're struggling solving a puzzle, there was this one puzzle with like different colored pieces that I had to move around and get into the right position. And as I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, that's that, and I'm like moving these pieces, her voice just kept coming in and being like, we need to move these pieces. And I'm like, I know, I'm doing it. It's like if you take too long with a puzzle, either Jodie or the other one, comes in and says, like, this looks important, and it's like, I know, I'm doing it, will you shut up? So, like, I get that they wanted to try to help, but it gets really annoying at times. But it gets by on fan service, as I said. Like, there's a bit where I just finished the section in the Victorian Mansion getting the second time crystal, and that involved the Weeping Angels, which Blink was genius, and then every time the show brought them back, the Weeping Angel got less and less scary. But let me tell you, they ruined them, but let me tell you, in VR, when you're like looking down a hallway at a Weeping Angel and trying to manipulate a crank on a generator, and you can't look away because then it'll get closer, and then when they do that, and it goes, super scary in VR. My husband was laughing at me because I was freaking out. So that was really fun. But it's not great. I'm not done yet. I'll probably have a wrap-up of it in the next episode, and we'll see how it wraps up and ends, which, given the stories of recent Doctor Who episodes, I'm not expecting it to end well, storyline-wise. I think it's going to be some timey-wimey bullshit, and it's going to be kind of lame, but we'll see. I know I have the Daleks to look forward to, so that's something. But come back next episode, and I will have more to say about that. Probably Valhalla. I don't think I'm going to the movies this week, so that'll be alright. But I'll see you back here next time. Same bat channel. Bye!